exactly is Taiwanese food? Why Taiwan and not mainland China? Internet paradise, cool pants, Chinese. 大家好，我是婷婷。Well, what am I doing in Taiwan? Why did I come here? Why did I stay here? This is probably the question that I'm asked the most, so today I am going to try to answer it for you. Now, there are quite a few reasons why Marshall and I are in Taiwan. Apart from the fact that you can buy cool pants like the ones I'm wearing right now, there are lots of reasons. The main reason why we're in Taiwan is Chinese. Mandarin Chinese is the national language of Taiwan. Although where we live in Kaohsiung in southern Taiwan, Taiwanese or Minanyu is spoken a lot. But that's okay, most people understand my Mandarin. It's only much older people who wouldn't be able to speak Mandarin Chinese. And actually it's kind of funny, people in the south are quite proud of their ability to speak Hokkien or Minanyu or Taiwanese, no matter whatever you want to call it. And that's great. I'm really pleased to see that people are holding on to that culture. And there are even songs in Minanyu that make fun of Taipei people for forgetting how to speak it. Although I'm pretty sure that's not the case. I'm pretty sure lots of people in Taipei are still speaking Minanyu. I like the way Minanyu has actually influenced the Mandarin Chinese accent here. I think it sounds cute. I think it sounds nice. Often people might make fun of the Taiwanese accent because it's very cute. It can sound a bit girly, but here that's not a problem. The guys are man enough, they can speak girly and it's totally cool. So I like the Mandarin that's spoken here. I personally didn't really want to learn Beijing Chinese. I know I'm going to have some problems if I want to go to the Beijing standard because there are a lot of words that are used in Taiwan here which are different from standard Mandarin Chinese, but it's okay, you can get used to it, and it's kind of the fun of learning here is learning, you know, that here, for example, the word for rubbish is 垃圾, whereas in mainland China it would be 垃圾, even though the characters are exactly the same. I have a funny story about 垃圾, but that can wait for another time because that is not what we're talking about today. We're talking about why I'm in Taiwan. So the first thing is Chinese. We actually never ended up going to class here in Taiwan. We study Chinese by ourselves. Lots of people say, I need to go to class, I need to go to class. I can't learn a foreign language without going to a class. Well, actually, we've only been to one class. That was back in Australia. It wasn't very good. It didn't help me very much. We have had private tutors. We do have friends that correct us. I think it's really important to have a tutor that corrects you, but you do not need to go to class every day. You just need a system to learn Chinese. We wanted to be in an environment, and we have a situation that allowed us to come to Taiwan. We thought initially for at least a year, and that way we could be in the environment and progress in Chinese. After a year, we felt like, well, we haven't progressed as much as we would like to. We're not ready to go back. We had progressed a lot, but we weren't ready to leave Taiwan. We had already gotten used to being in Taiwan. We'd fallen in love with Taiwan. So we were really enjoying it here, and we said, well, let's just stay, until we don't want to be here anymore. It's already been 3 years and we're just quite used to our life here. We're quite happy here. In Taiwan, everything's in traditional characters. That can actually be a little bit frustrating for a language learner. Usually overseas, we'll start learning simplified characters. So I was learning simplified characters for 1 year before I came to Taiwan. And then when I got here, I was very hesitant to switch to traditional characters. I knew that if I wanted to stay in Taiwan, I would need to start learning traditional characters. But I wanted to be sure that we were going to stay here before that. So I waited 3 months. And then I said to Marshall, do you think we're going to stay here? Like, we're not leaving anytime soon, right? And he said, yeah, I like it here. Let's stay. And I said, okay. So then I started learning traditional characters. And that are the 4 months that I spent trying to relearn all of the simplified characters in traditional. Taipei was the worst 4 months of my life, but I don't think it was because of traditional characters. I think it was just because I was trying to get used to being here. In Kaohsiung, most of the menus in restaurants don't have any English. In Taipei, even in Taichung, you'll find most of them have English. But here, like many of the restaurants in my area, absolutely no English, which is great for my Chinese. But if I want to eat anything, I have to learn the characters for it. So you know what I was eating for the first 4 months? Pretty much Nioro mian the entire time. Fortunately, beef noodle soup is delicious, so that wasn't a problem, but now I'm actually able to eat a much broader variety of things. Okay, so why Taiwan and not mainland China? Well, there's just a few simple reasons. Number one is the internet is really fast here. So at home, I'm getting 40 to 70 megabits on our home broadband network. You can pay more or less depending on how fast you'd like it to be, but because we work on the internet is important to us. Do you know how much I was getting in my house in Australia? 5 megabits. 5 megabits was the speed of my internet at home in Australia, and at our office, I don't know why, but it was 3 megabits. 3 megabits for the entire office. So Taiwan, to me, is like an internet paradise. They're actually putting in a new internet system in Australia now. So later on, it's already getting better, and later on it's going to be even better. Over in mainland China, the internet is a lot slower, so I was a bit worried about how I was going to do my work, and I also do need services like Facebook, Google, and YouTube for my job, because part of my job is to do marketing. The visa situation is quite good here. It's a lot easier for an Australian person to get a visa. Actually, you can come straight into Taiwan if you're an Australian, at least at the moment. You can come straight into Taiwan for 90 days and it's a visa-free entry, so you don't even need to worry. As long as you've got a ticket booked out of the country within 90 days, you can come in, no problem. So a lot of people will come into Taiwan for that 90 days, see if they can find work or try to figure out if they want to stay, and then figure out where they're going to go from there. Taiwan also has a lot of cheese, and it also has, you can get wine. So cheese and wine are very, very important to me. So that's another plus for Taiwan. Taiwan's generally, it's a safe place. It's a clean place. I knew that if I came here, I wouldn't have to be worrying about my safety or my health all the time. The health system is quite good. Even if you don't have health insurance, even if you don't have public health insurance, the health system is still very good. You can go and see the doctor for less than I would see the doctor in Australia. I'll talk about that one in a separate video. The food. People on YouTube are always going on about the food in Taiwan, and at first I didn't really understand, because I was trying to understand what exactly is Taiwanese food. And the thing about food in Taiwan is that you can get all different kinds of food. So Taiwanese food in itself, what I would call Taiwanese food, it's quite a simple type of food. We're looking at noodles, or we're looking at like rice, meat, and vegetables. Actually, simplicity is good because it's easier to see what you're eating, and it's easier to know whether or not this will make me sick, whether or not I'm going to like this, that kind of thing. But if you want to eat Western food, it's there, it's affordable. If you want to eat Japanese food, it's there, it's affordable. If you want to eat Thai food, Vietnamese food, you want to eat different foods from different regions of mainland China, Taiwan's got it all. And I think that that's why I would describe Taiwan as a food paradise. And the other reason why Taiwan's a food paradise is the street food. The street food is just amazing. It's out of this world, and it's safe to eat. I have never been seriously ill from street food in Taiwan. Maybe a couple of times when I've eaten a fried thing that I, maybe shouldn't have eaten, because perhaps the oil that they're using when they're frying chicken on the side of the road is not the cleanest oil, maybe, depending on where you've bought it from. Maybe it's made me a bit uncomfortable, maybe I've had diarrhea, and you can check out one of my night market videos if you want to see some of that food for yourself. The cost of living in Taiwan is very reasonable, and particularly if you're happy to live outside Taipei. Taipei city can be quite expensive, but New Taipei seems to be okay. And definitely down here in Kaohsiung, the cost of living is very reasonable. If you can pay, say, 15,000 Taiwan dollars per month for a house, you're going to get an apartment that's fully furnished, that has air conditioning. It's going to be in a building with a security guard. Obviously, you can get places for a lot less than that if you're happy to live in a place that doesn't have a security guard. You know, perhaps it's an older place, then you could pay a lot less than 10,000 Taiwan dollars. If you want to live in like just a room, just rent a room, then you could get something for maybe 5,000 Taiwan dollars. So rent is very affordable, and often furniture is included, so you kind of don't have to worry as much about that. Food is very cheap. Food is very cheap from a Westerner's point of view. I actually don't think that the cost of buying food is very cheap if you're on an average Taiwanese person's wage. So many Taiwanese people are only earning 150 Taiwan dollars per hour that they work, which is very low, especially considering that the most simple meal is probably going to cost around 100 Taiwan dollars. And groceries, making a meal yourself is not that much cheaper. From a foreigner's point of view, when we're thinking about converting our money into Taiwan dollars, eating out is very cheap. And if I want to, I can eat out every day. That's no problem. You know, most people here will be eating out every day. And particularly if you're just eating Taiwanese food, it can be very cheap. Taiwan's super convenient, especially if you live in a city. Everyone rides scooters, so if you've got a scooter, a bike, or an electric bike, if you don't have a license like I do, I have an electric scooter. My electric scooter doesn't need a number plate. It can go 40 kilometers per hour, which is enough for me because I don't want to go any faster, because if you've seen the way that some people drive here, you will be horrified. It's not as bad as Vietnam. If you've seen Vietnam, it's not as bad as Bali, but I still don't love driving in Taiwan. But being able to drive slowly, it's totally fine. I just love it how for example, there's drink shops everywhere. You can just hop on your scooter and you can just go and get a bubble tea, and it's not annoying. I know in Australia, we don't have to drive really far to get everything, but nothing's really that convenient. Everything's much more spaced out. There's convenience stores everywhere here. There's 7-Eleven and Family Mart everywhere here. That's just super convenient if you just need something. There's a Family Mart at the bottom of my building, so when I run out of milk, I just go downstairs and get milk. And that's something that I wouldn't be able to do in Australia. If I ran out of milk in Australia, that's it. I've got to get in the car and go to the supermarket. And the last thing is the people are friendly. And you can see my video all about Taiwanese people to find out about that. I've just realized that actually I've just listed a lot of things that have made me stay in Taiwan, but basically Marshall and I came here to learn Chinese, and it's all these other things that have kind of made us just stay here, fall in love with Taiwan. Thank you, Taiwan. You've been the best. Thank you to the people of Taiwan. You've made being here very, very pleasant, lovely. My name's Ting Ting. I'm an Australian living in Kaohsiung, Taiwan. If you like my video, don't forget to hit like, share it with a friend. Leave a comment below telling me what you like about living in Taiwan, and I'll see you next time in Taiwan. Bye.